My parents erased me from their lives for 5 years because my sister told them I had dropped out of medical school. Last month, she showed up in my emergency room bleeding badly, and the trauma team called for the chief surgeon. The doors opened. My mother saw the name on my white coat. Her hand gripped my father's arm so tightly that he flinched. Growing up, my sister was always the brilliant one. Her name is Claire Bennett, and she could charm any adult in the room within minutes. My parents swallowed it all like dessert. I was the quiet kid with a science project and a second-place ribbon no one ever asked about. One weekend, I made it to the state science fair. That same weekend, Claire had a small role in a school play. Guess which event my parents said they absolutely couldn't miss. I stood next to my project table, scanning the room again and again, waiting for them to walk in. They never did. When I got accepted into medical school across the country, my father finally looked at me and said, "Maybe you'll actually make something of yourself." It wasn't love, but it felt like oxygen. Claire smiled too, but only with her mouth. After that, she started calling me more often, asking about classes, asking about professors, asking about exam dates. I thought she cared. What I didn't realize was that I was giving her ammunition. During my 3rd year of medical school, my best friend Lily Carter was diagnosed with late-stage cancer. She didn't have family nearby, just me. The university approved a formal leave so I could take care of her for a semester. There were forms to sign and meetings with the school, but none of that mattered. Lily was terrified, and she had no one else, so I stayed with her. I drove her to appointments, sat with her during treatments, slept in the uncomfortable chair beside her hospital bed when the nights got bad. At some point, exhausted and overwhelmed, I made the mistake of calling Claire. Part of me hoped that for once she might just act like a normal sister. Her voice turned soft immediately. She said she understood. She said she was proud of me for helping Lily. She even promised she wouldn't tell Mom and Dad because they would only worry. I believed her. 3 days later, my father called. His voice sounded colder than I had ever heard it. "Your sister told us everything." According to him, I had dropped out of school. Apparently, I had run off with someone. Apparently, I had thrown away my future. I tried to explain. I offered to send documents from the university. I told him he could call the dean himself if he wanted. He didn't let me finish. "Don't call this house again until you're ready to tell the truth." Then he hung up. After that, my number stopped working for them. My calls went straight to voicemail. My messages were never answered. A week later, my mother blocked me too. I sent them a letter trying to explain everything. It came back unopened. My mother's handwriting was on the envelope, like I was junk mail, like I was something that could simply be returned to sender. Lily died that winter. I was the only person in the hospital room when the monitor finally went flat. The sound of that machine going silent stayed with me for a long time. After the nurses finished their work and the room emptied, I sat there alone for a while. Before everything happened, Lily had slipped a note inside my anatomy textbook. I didn't find it until weeks later. It only had one sentence written on it. "Finish. Don't let blood decide your worth." So I finished. I went back to medical school. I graduated. Then came residency. Long nights. Endless shifts. Years of learning how to stay calm while someone's life hung in the balance. Eventually, I became a trauma surgeon. I got married. Her name is Caroline Hayes. She met me during my last year of residency and somehow decided I was worth keeping around even though I was exhausted most of the time. When we got married, I sent invitations to my parents in Hartford, Connecticut anyway. Part of me still hoped they would show up. Every envelope came back the same way. Unopened. Returned. Like the others. Like I had never existed. Years passed. And then last month, at 3:07 a.m., my pager went off. Severe car accident. Unstable vitals. Possible abdominal bleeding. The kind of case that wakes up the entire trauma team. I walked toward the nurse's station while pulling on my surgical cap. The admission chart was waiting on the counter. I picked it up and